Hey everybody, and welcome to Let's Look at Another World 20th Anniversary Edition. This is kind of an exciting Let's Look at for me, or at least a sentimental Let's Look at for me, because Another World, also known as Out of This World, also known as Outer World, I think there's a lot of different titles for this game, because it came out everywhere. This was one of my favorite games from my childhood, and I'm excited to see, first off, Jesus Christ, 20th anniversary, I had no idea. I mean, I was only like 2 or 3 when this originally came out, but still, it's weird that I'm old enough to be watching or playing things that I experienced for the first time in a 20th anniversary edition, but I digress about that. But it was one of my favorite games from my childhood. I played the shit out of the Super Nintendo version of this. I believe it originally came out on the Amiga, and I'm excited to say that Another World has aged very, very well. If you're not familiar with the game, I hope that this is going to give you a brief taste of why Another World is one of the most critically acclaimed games of that era, even though it's a game that doesn't necessarily get talked about as much as something like, I don't know, Super Mario World or something. We're going to get started here. I am playing the PC version of the game, but this is also available, I think it came out last year for phones, and beyond that, I think it's also available, so it's available on iOS, Android, and this is the PC version. I will say the PC version is $10, as far as I know the mobile versions are only $1 each, which seems a little crazy for me, and I'm not sure that if it's possible to justify that, you know, 1000% price increase. But in any case, this is a very worthwhile game, and it's aged incredibly well, and I think they've done a very tasteful job with the remastering here. First thing I'm going to do is actually just play through the intro, and we're going to play through basically from the start of the game. And the main hallmark of Another World is these kind of like really artistic graphics that are kind of, they've aged so well because I think they didn't really try to push the technical limits of the console, if that makes sense. Again, this originally came out on the Amiga. Instead of focusing on, you know, like up in the texture count or something like that, they focused on producing basically just really, really artistic graphics. And we can switch back and forth on the fly between like the HD remastered graphics and the original graphics, which are not that different, to be honest with you. And again, I think they've done a very tasteful job with the remastering as well. So this is the original, this is the HD remastering. Basically all they've done is smooth it out a little bit. It's one of those rare cases where I feel like they have you know, the original game still looks very, very good, especially considering it's 22 years old at this point. But the remastered version keeps the style of the original without totally bastardizing it and still improving on it. Something that I feel like games like, you know, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time Reshell didn't do very well at all. In any case, this is kind of like the introductory cutscene, and as far as I know, this is one of the first games that had cinematics like this, which is another thing that kind of sets it apart if we're going through a history lesson here. And I'll switch back and forth occasionally between the graphics, just so you can get a feel for what it looked like then and what it looks like now. As you can see, copyright 1990, although I do believe that this was a 1991 joint. In any case, we basically play as we play the role of this scientist or some kind of computer programmer, some kind of physicist, and, you know, in true Half-Life fashion, something is going to go terribly wrong with his experiment, and then he's going to be sucked into an alien world. And this is almost the easiest way to describe this game, is that it's almost like a Dragon's Lair style game where, you know, the game is broken up into screens, and every screen is kind of like a miniature puzzle in its own right, and you have to solve it, and basically the way that you solve it is by surviving it. I actually didn't get to see this entire cutscene my first time through because I hit the A button by accident. I am playing this with the 360 controller, so let's just see what happens here, because it's been, you know, again, probably at least 10 years since I've seen this. But yeah, it's kind of like a non-shitty Dragon's Lair is the way that I'm going to describe it, and I probably just like double the dislike ratio by insulting Dragon's Lair, but I don't feel like Dragon's Lair has aged nearly as well as this has here, although Dragon's Lair, you know, from an artistic standpoint still looks really good, but from a gameplay standpoint it's a little antiquated, whereas Another World is still, like, this is the scariest game I think I've played, maybe in my entire life. Maybe it's just because I was a kid when I played it for the first time, but man, this game has given me like some pseudo-fake post-traumatic stress disorder. I guess we're dealing with a Large Hadron Collider here. This is what some people think will happen if the Large Hadron Collider is allowed to continue working, I suppose. Gosh darn, I am a clever dude for reusing that joke 100 times. So that's the end of this cutscene here, and now we are actually in the gameplay. So the first thing that you do when you play Another World is drown. Almost everybody drowns, I think, the first time that they play Another World. Now, I'm not going to play, you know, straight MLG style here, because I kind of want to, A, not spoil the surprise, because figuring out these puzzles is part of the surprise, and, you know, dying is a big part of it as well, as you can just see right there. If you just kind of hang out for too long, you will die. Everything in this game is out to kill you, and all you can do, you're defenseless on this alien world. All you can really do is survive. So we're just gonna run through here. everything that you could possibly come across is out to kill you. I'm just going to try to talk about the controls very quickly. Basically, A is like an action button, so this is a little bit context sensitive, but for the most part, it's going to be a run for us. B is going to be jump. I'm assuming this controls fine on the PC as well, because it originally came out on Amiga, which I believe was a a keyboard-based console. And, you know, there are some other buttons we'll have eventually, but these things are going to kill us if they hit us once. Basically, everything will kill us if they hit us once. The reason this game is so traumatic is because, again, literally everything is out to kill you, and the game really nails this kind of unfamiliar vibe, because when you first get here, you're like, oh, it's just like little tiny rats on the ground or something. I can probably jump on them and kill them. No such luck. Instead, they are going to scratch us and, I guess, inject us with their alien venom, and then we'll die. So let's actually try to succeed here. And get through. Now, Another World is not necessarily a long game, but it is a game that requires a lot of trial and error, and I don't mean that in a negative way. But it's the kind of game where the replay value basically hinges on how much you enjoyed it for the first time. If you're looking, oh, why am I going so fast and why am I jumping so much? I wonder if that's like a fraps thing going on there, but in any case, we are going to get around this beast, and then we've just got to come back here in the other direction and jump over. But yes, your enjoyment of the game on repeated plays is largely going to hinge on how much you enjoyed it the first time and how much you want to kind of see the story and maybe try to, I don't know, like do a run without dying or something like that. But it's worth playing through once regardless, just for the kind of really remarkable art. I mean, I totally forgot that we were dealing with the 1991 graphics there. There's such little difference on most of these screens, but it's a subtle difference. But it really does enhance it. I enjoy the remastered graphics more than the original. As much as that is sometimes bastardizing to say, the way it's kind of smoothed out, I think, is really, really nice. So we'll probably play for another, 5 or 8 minutes or so. I don't want to spoil too much of the game again because it's pretty short. You could probably beat it in definitely under an hour, I would say, once you know what to do. But if you don't know what to do, then it's going to take you, probably at least 3 to 4 to figure everything out, especially if it's your first time through. But let's try to get through here. This is also truly horrifying. So we're trapped in this cage with our alien friend, and these guys are going to yell at us in an alien tongue that we don't understand. So we're just going to try to break out of here by swinging the cage like so. We'll fall on him, and then we will meet our companion, who is going to be with us for much of the rest of the game, even though we don't know anything about him. The way the game communicates things like that is really interesting, I think. So he's going to come through here, and now we are going to have a gun. Now, if we just wanted to run through here as fast as we can, we would be, vaporized pretty quickly by this guy, if he would actually shoot us. There we go. By the way, not only are the aliens villainous, or, antagonists of us, because we don't know if they're actually villainous. Maybe they're kind of a benevolent race, and we just happen to, get on the wrong side of them or something, because we don't know anything about this world, and again, that kind of otherworldliness or unfamiliarity permeates much of the game and creates an atmosphere that is not only uncertainty, but also incredible amounts of fear most of the time. Because everything is Earth-like in a way. Like, I can look at this and realize, oh, this is like a mining colony or like a penal colony or something like that. Oh, don't shoot your buddy. But at the same time, there's just enough strangeness to be unnerving. Now, I do have this gun now, so I can protect my alien friend, and also, I think there's another one coming this way. A lot of this game is based on memorization as well. So yes, I can protect my alien friend, and also, go through some offense of my own. So he's got a shield there, but we should be able— oh, I fucked it up. Luckily, there are fairly frequent checkpoints. Despite that shield, I should be able to break him down if I just shoot really, really quickly. Although, yeah, he can still vaporize me as well. I think maybe what I want to do is set up a shield of my own, like so. As you can see, your gun has a kind of various attacks that it can use. Good, we did succeed there. I want to set up another shield just for now, just in case. And the game's kind of a mixture of combat and puzzles, but if this makes sense, even the combat is kind of puzzles. Oh, god damn it! If this freaking half alien, half sloth would just do things a little bit faster, we would be totally okay. I might also want to— there's another actual attack that we can do that basically involves just shooting like an enormous beam of energy. And I'm not sure if this might be better for us to use on this guy. There we go. So that beam totally destroyed him. Alright, so this is another checkpoint here. And this is a really good moment, actually, if we go up here. Not to spoil it, because, if you want to experience Another World, probably the best way to do it is to not watch a Let's Play or something like that of a guy being like, oh, herp de derp, shitty commentary, artistic game. Again, this is an example of where I think the remastered graphics pull things together just a little bit. This is not a Lucas remastering. It's actually a worthwhile one in my opinion. And again, I think that's because they went for an artistic style, or, you know, the single dude who developed this went for an artistic style of graphics or art as opposed to going for a, you know, just trying to get like, wait, what can we push the Amiga to do? Can we get 8 shapes on the screen instead of 4? Actually, it's been a long time since I've even seen Amiga gameplay, so I might be selling it a little bit short there. Let's come through here, and we'll blow a hole open through this door, and then we will run. Again, a lot of this is basically just memorization and having played through the game before when I was a little bit younger. Oh, yeah, we want to come down here. This is probably, like, the second most horrifying part of the game here. If you're at least the slightest bit claustrophobic, this might get to you a little bit. So you roll down here, and then you're trapped in like this ventilation system, and these vents will not randomly but intermittently shoot steam at you or some kind of poison gas. The main terror in Another World, the fact that this game is so horrifying and has traumatized so many people, oh yeah, as you can see, is that death lurks around every corner. And not only does it lurk around every corner, but it's instant. It's not like you have a, oh god damn it, that was just me being impatient. It's not like you have a health bar or something like that. One hit from anything, essentially, and you're dead. Maybe you fall down a hole that's too big, and death is always surprising as well. Like, the first time you come through here, and you're just like, oh, I'm gonna roll to the left. In rolling to the left, you will find, there we go, another steam vent. It scares the shit out of me every single time. I mean, this is the kind of game where the first experience you have with it, almost every single player just drowns immediately as soon as they start it. Or, you know, they fall and break their neck as they drop down this vent, but... yeah, like the first interaction that almost every player has in Another World is just, you know, spawning in this world, not realizing it's not a cutscene anymore, and then just drowning. And then maybe you're talking to your friends, you're like, hey, check out this Another World game I just got, and oh, an alien tentacle grabbed me, and all of a sudden I am deceased. I'm just rolling a little bit here to see where the vents are, because I don't want to get sprayed accidentally. I think we can make it through here. Kind of close, but we're okay. Oh, it looks like my keyboard is... my keyboard is probably broken there again for a second because I noticed that we did get some frame rate dips. I really need to, I think, upgrade my power supply. If I'm going to record a 22-year-old game, I really need to get an upgraded power supply. This one is not getting it done right now. Oh, okay, be careful. Roll over. Now just stop rolling. And then we'll go. And I think this is how we get to the end. If we fall down through the bottom of the level here, we should be okay. We're just going to be extraordinarily cautious. One more drop. Okay, good. Now, this will probably be like one of the last screens that I do here, because again, I'm spoiling like 40% of the game here in recommending it. By the way, these like electrocution stations here basically give us more power for our gun. I believe you have unlimited numbers of shots of like the little laser beams, like the Han Solo style blasters, but if you use those super shots, it does deplete the ammunition, so you've got to come back here and, you know, electrocute yourself a little bit, and that will reload your gun. So, here we will exit our prison, which is a part where I got stuck at for, like, probably 6 months when I was a kid. But only took me about 6 minutes this time. And then we're gonna get immediately impaled upon a stick. No, then we're gonna meet up with our alien friend again. You know, one complaint I have about Another World, even this re-release, is that the checkpoint system sometimes, you know, they seem to not be in the most ideal situations. Like, if I was making this game now, not to say I could make this game, you know, better, because I couldn't, but one tweak I might make is putting this specific checkpoint just right here, maybe, after those doors, so you didn't have to, you know, go through the tedious process of shooting through the doors every single time when you came through here. So let's jump. No. All right. Also, sometimes the controls are a little bit wonky, but it's not enough to detract from what is otherwise an excellent experience. The only complaint I have about this game at all, I think this is an incredibly tastefully redone remastering, and the people who created it should be very, very proud of themselves as a result of this. Plus, this is a game that I feel has held up surprisingly well, considering, you know, it's gonna be 30 years old soon, which is pretty insane. But again, the only caveat I really have is that the PC version's $10. Oh, I did not botch it, good. The PC version's $10, whereas the version that you can get for your mobile phone, either iOS or Android, is only gonna run you for $1. So, you know, it looks beautiful blown up in my 1080p monitor. It would probably look pretty good on a phone screen as well, though. I just don't know how the controls would be. But we're gonna go, you know, quick game and go back to the main menu here. Hopefully this won't actually exit us from the entire game. Good. So this is the 20th anniversary edition of Another World. Again, if you missed this one when it originally came out, a lot of the people watching this, in fact, probably the vast majority of people watching this were not even born when this originally came out. This is a really good opportunity for you to jump back into a game that, you know, in certain circles is considered among the best of its generation, even though that generation is, you know, gone by this point. In any case, the only caveat I have is that you can get the phone version for literally 10% of the cost of the PC version, but there will be a link down there in the video description to the store page on Steam if you're interested in buying it on Steam. I do think it's worth 10 bucks, but again, it's hard to say, you know, it's worth 10 bucks, but you can also get it for $1 elsewhere. I don't know, man. I'm happy that I have it regardless. In any case, thank you guys for watching. As always, I will see you next time.